The Rich and Mike Show, Flagler County's hometown sports show. Here are your hosts, Rich Carroll and Mike Licio.
Yes, it's another episode of the Rich and Mike Sports Show. Good Saturday morning, Flagler County. And a good Saturday morning to you, Mike Licio.
Hello, Flagler County. Rich, as fellow Queens native, the best borough, of course, LL Cool J once said, don't call it a comeback.
Well, I disagree with the best borough. Everybody knows the best borough is the Bronx, where the New York... Oh, never mind. Maybe it is Queens. It's not Queens either. They have a tough time.
The Jets used to play there, so it can't be that good.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to look towards Staten... No, it's not Staten Island.
No. Let's move on.
Yeah. Let's we'll have this conversation another day. But, yeah, you know what? FPC, they're putting their hat... They're putting their names back in the hat. They're back in it, baby. They're going for the playoffs. Playoffs? You're talking about playoffs? Well, yeah, we are talking about playoffs. FPC improved to 3-5. Not so much the record, but maybe who the opponent was last night, where the Yulee Hornets come in undefeated, 7-0. And what a night at Sal Campanella Stadium. It's homecoming night, and I thought it was a great line by you during the broadcast where you talk about, well, this is not a homecoming opponent. And you hear that a lot, whether it's the college game or the NFL game. You have a homecoming opponent. Like, everybody knows, Mike, that the New York Jets are the homecoming opponent, right?
For sure.
And everybody's looking at their schedules right now in the NFL, and they see the Jets on it. That's the homecoming game. Well, FPC, their homecoming opponent was not a homecoming opponent. The Yulee Hornets were undefeated. They were 7-0. But, man, they were treated like a homecoming opponent because the Bulldogs, they knocked them off. What was it, 42-14, Mike, or 17?
42-14. And, not to really – I could basically sum up this game in just one stat, fact, whatever you want to call it. Yulee gave up 42 points last night. They had given up 39 the entire season.
Wow.
No team had scored more than 14 points. FPC had 14 points in the first half. But this is a Yulee team that, again, like you said, 7-0. This is not a team that I'm not going to name area schools, but I'm sure all of you have in mind schools in the Flagler, Volusia, St. John's area that come to mind. But this is the 5th-ranked team in Class 3A, the 41st-ranked team in the state, undefeated, beating everybody handily, dominating people on defense especially. Now, they didn't give up a lot of yards on defense, but that was because FPC was making big plays in defense and special teams as well. But this is the most complete game that FPC has played. I guess that's obvious, but this is the most complete game FPC has played this season. Yeah,
and the way they've been playing this year, obviously they had the big win opening night against the Matanzas Pirates in the Potato Bowl. That previously was probably the best night of the season. This obviously now is the best night of the season, defeating an undefeated team. But you look at it and you say, man, the way this team was playing with a record of 2-5, you're not sure if you're going to have a night like this the rest of the season. You get to the end of the season, you regroup, try to come back and have a better year next year. But now, next year is kind of this year right now after a performance like that, because you did end up getting just a special night at Sal Campanella. There were so many cool things happening in this game, things that maybe you wouldn't even think to mention. You mentioned the special teams. How about Lucas Sahara with 2 huge kick returns? Who saw that coming? That was incredible, and that set up the Bulldogs for some scores as well.
Like I said on the air, obviously Yulee didn't, because they kicked it to him the first time. He had a 30-yard kickoff return the first time, and then the next kickoff they kicked it right back to him, and he went for 60 that time.
This is a game. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
And Lucas Sahara, he's an up man. Normally you don't kick it. It reminded me actually of a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember this game. It was St. Augustine versus Matanzas at the Ship, and St. Augustine kicked off to Noah Cundiff. He had a long return, and then St. Augustine decided to kick it short, kind of like FPC, Yulee did against FPC tonight. And they actually had Noah Cundiff lined up upfield, and he caught it and broke off another big return. I remember saying to Coach Braddock, I said, "Why did you kick it to Cundiff again?" He said, "We didn't know he was there."
Pretty slick, pretty
but
smart.
They kicked it right back to him, and and you're right. Those are two plays that could easily be forgotten because of all the plays that were made. We talked about it a lot. We talked about it tonight. Complimentary football, and that was on display tonight.
Yeah, and another thing I think about when I think back on this game last night, it's not often where you have an opportunity. There was a play in the second half. Bulldogs are really trying to break the game open, and Yulee fumbles the football, and the ball's bouncing on the ground there. And you think, man, the Bulldogs, they had two players in the area. They can easily pick the ball up and run it back for a touchdown. Unfortunately, they're unable to pick it up and handle it, and somehow Yulee is able to recover the football and keep possession. Well, you think, well, there's an opportunity that was lost, but they got the same opportunity again in the same game not too long after that, where Reagan Mellon this time was able to pick it up and rumble all the way for a touchdown. That, Mike, you don't see that happen where you miss the opportunity and then the opportunity presents itself again and you take advantage of it. That was kind of the exclamation point on this game, the Reagan Mellon fumble return for a touchdown.
And that was the defense tonight. They kept responding. We talked about it in the second quarter, or maybe it was late in the first quarter, where Yulee is out to punt, and there's a roughing the kicker penalty, and the drive continues, and Yulee gets down inside the red zone, and the FPC defense stands up. That had the potential. At that point, Yulee was going to tie the game. Instead, FPC gets a stop on defense. The offense gets it down the field and rewards the defense with a touchdown to make it 14-0. And, at that point, FPC started to take control, but that game was very much that penalty on fourth down very much had a chance to really turn the game against FPC.
Yeah, and on that drive, Yulee had not – FPC from the very start of the game, they were playing great defense. Yulee, they did not have a first down yet, and FPC gives them their first down on basically back-to-back offsides penalties, and that kind of got that drive moving. And then it looks like you have them stopped, and you get the running into the kicker, puts Yulee in a 4th down and 5. They feel comfortable going for it. They convert, but then they don't score. I think that was the same drive where there was a missed field goal.
Correct.
So they end up missing a field goal on that drive. But even with the penalties, there were three big ones. The Bulldogs, as you said, they were resilient last night. They were able to overcome it. And I think that was the turning point of the game, because a team that's 7-0, you take a 7-0 lead. Now you are making mistakes and opening the door just a little bit, saying, here you go. The door's halfway open. Can you push through? And the Bulldogs did not let them push through. They shut the door, and they get the ball back with a 7-0 lead. And the rest is history. What was it, Mike? 35 unanswered points?
35 unanswered points from FPC. And Yulee is a team that was averaging close to 200 yards game rushing, only averaging about 70 passing, and completing about 43% of their passes. In fact, they had one of their better passing games. They finished the game 12 for 19 for only 99 yards, but a very good passing game for them. They actually ended up outgaining FPC, but that's because they had a lot of – it was, again, like you said, it was 35-0, and they scored a couple touchdowns when FPC had pulled everybody. FPC – here's the crazy stat I didn't realize until I got home and started looking at it. FPC only ran 31 plays on offense tonight.
Wow.
Last night.
They really didn't have to do much, and you don't have to look when you think, how did they do it? They had positive plays on almost every first down on offense. That was huge, and you could tell early on Ladarius Simmons he was able to be patient on those RPOs, find the holes, and seemed like every time he ran the football on first down, it would end up being 2nd down and 6, 2nd down and 5. And now they're set up, and they were in those situations all night long, and they kept converting. Now, all of a sudden, the defense, they're keying in on Ladarius Simmons. Now he does hand it off to He-Man, a J-Day. He does hand it off to Darwin Harris. And now the defense isn't ready for it. You mentioned it during the game. They don't know what to expect. And then, guess what? Ladarius Simmons, he could throw the football too, and he could throw it pretty good. And he has some weapons out there. And next thing you know, he's completing passes and a beautiful touchdown pass on a one-on-one great route, a slant from Logan Jacobelli with a great slant pattern there. And while the pattern's great and he takes it to the house, Ladarius Simmons put that ball on the money, right where it needed to be to keep Logan Jacobelli in stride to where he can run that ball into the end zone for, well, that was like a 40-yard touchdown pass, right?
40 yards, yes, sir.
That play was so crisp and so perfect from the quarterback to the receiver, and that's all set up because of how successful they were in the running game, both with the quarterback and the tailback. So it was as efficient. You mentioned not a lot of yardage, but it was so efficient. The Hornets could not stop them. It was amazing. It was really fun to watch.
FPC did not have a negative play tonight on offense. And to your point, did a little math while you were talking because I wanted to display to your point that you were making. FPC on first down tonight averaged 5.1 yards of rush and 7.2 yards per play on first down. So that means on average it was 2nd and 3 all night. And if you're in 2nd and 3, that opens up a lot of options. And there was a lot of great play calling tonight as well that was helping the offense. To your point, if you just keep moving the ball forward, you're going to have success in offense. And they did. Like I said, they only ran 31 plays, but they still managed to get 42 points. And like I said, no negative plays. They had 3 2-yard rushes, a 3-yard rush, and then every other rush was at least 4 yards tonight. That's incredible.
No negative plays, few penalties. They weren't penalized a lot, which is huge. But maybe the biggest thing, and I think one of your keys to the game was protect the football. And you go into the game against a team like the Yulee Hornets. They've dominated this season. They're 7-0. And a big reason why, kind of similar to the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Jaguars have had success this season in large part because they're able to force turnovers, create turnovers. And that's what the Yulee Hornets have done. They 20 turnovers they forced going into that game last night. And the Bulldogs did not turn it over once. That's a key to the game, and that's one of the ones you had, Mike.
Yep. Let's talk about those keys to the game, but very quickly because I'm just like to brag on myself a little bit. So my key to the game for FPC was to protect the ball. They did that. Make Yulee drive down. Make Yulee have to go long ways down the field because that was the thing that Yulee had done this year. They were only averaging about 250 yards of offense a game. They had 244 tonight, but a lot of it in garbage time. And 4th down stops. FPC had that penalty, and after that, Yulee did not convert a 4th down the rest of the game. Yulee did not stay on schedule. The defense didn't play well, and they ran the ball okay. They had 145 yards rushing, but it was on 37 carries, so they really had to work for it, whereas FPC was averaging nearly 6 yards a carry the entire night. And like I said, no negative plays at all. Ladarius Simmons was 5 for 5 for 89 yards. Logan Jacobelli caught 3 of those passes. And they weren't just like, if you look on the other side, Yulee completed 12 passes for a total of 99 yards. 10 yards less from Ladarius Simmons. He was pushing the ball down the field. He hit Nico Murphy on a 30-yarder. He hit Logan Jacobelli on a 40-yarder. So they were doing – the numbers weren't that big. But if you watch the game and you grind down in the numbers, you see a team that was – balanced, a team that was efficient. You see a team that was making plays in defense, making plays in Jacob Harnish. What a game he had. I can't wait until I go through FPC's video and tally up the tackles because Harnish had a sack. He had a pass breakup. He had a couple tackles for loss. He just had a great night as well. But I think it's time to start talking to the people that I was able to chase down because there was a lot of euphoria and it's homecoming, so a lot of people excited. Let's talk to some of the people, and starting with Reagan Mellon, who had a 40-yard fumble return that was the exclamation point on the game. We'll get to the big moment in just a second, but tonight, 7-0 Yulee, you guys didn't flinch. It was going to be on you guys on the defense because Yulee is a team that creates a lot of turnovers on their side of the ball and gives their offense a lot of extra opportunities. it was going to be on you guys to stop them when they were on the field. What was your mindset going in as a team?
As a mindset, as a team, when we came in, we told ourselves we got to be prepared. The past couple of weeks haven't gone our way, and as a unit, we all thought to ourselves, we got to be teammates, we got to be brothers, we got to work together. So we were flying around on the ball today. That was our main goal, to get on the ball and do as much as we could to stop them.
On the punt, there was a penalty. Yuli's drive continues. You guys dug in. What's that say about your team in that situation? They're starting to get the momentum. They're getting a chance there to tie the game, and you guys are able to keep them out of the end zone. What's it say about your defense?
That we're resistant. We're really resistant. We try our hardest every time, no matter what happens. No matter if it's a penalty, turnover, no matter. We always try our hardest to stop the offense, and we're always resistant to the other team.
Finally, take us through the scoop and score.
So a couple weeks ago, I picked up a fumble. I didn't make it all the way, and then early in this game, missed a pick. Everyone's like, you got to redeem yourself. I was like, I'll redeem myself. I picked it up, and thankfully, my teammates there to help me. They pushed me out the pile, and I just booked it. I ran so hard. I wanted to score it so bad for the team and for myself.
Feel like that's the fastest you've ever run?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
You had that Ladarius speed?
Maybe. I might be able to. I catch him sometimes in practice.
We'll get the stopwatch out and see how long it took him to get to the end zone there. But congratulations. And, of course, he remembers the missed interception opportunity there where I forget. I think that was Visconti in the game at the time. And he gets hit while he's throwing the ball, and it flutters in the air. And a diving attempt from Reagan Mellon there. It looked like maybe it went through his arms. But I'm sure if it was that close, it was hard to tell from where we were, but from the way he described it, he missed the opportunity there. I wasn't sure if it bounced in front of him or if it went through his arms. If it did go through his arms, I'm sure his teammates were letting him have it a little bit. And I don't know if it was me and I come back and I score a touchdown on a fumble recovery run. I might forget about the interception a little bit, but that's why they're athletes. That's why they're competitors. They remember every moment of these games, good or bad. And the other thing I liked about what he said, they're just talking about being brothers on defense and having each other's backs. That's the attitude you want to have when you're playing this game, this rough game. You need people to have your back. And it sounds like the Bulldogs have each other's backs out there. Great to hear.
Especially against a physical team like Yulee. Now, for those of you listening, Reagan Mellon is a defensive tackle. So you hear, oh, well, he almost had an interception, and he had a scoop and score, and he almost had a scoop and score a couple weeks ago. You're probably thinking, this is a linebacker. This is somebody going sideline to sideline. No, this is a defensive tackle who finds himself making plays time and time again. And, hey, when you're running towards the end zone, sometimes you feel as fast as Ladarius Simmons.
Hey, regardless of how fast you were running, the end result is the best result when you cross that goal line, right? So you got it done.
When I was a kid, I had He-Man bed sheets. I don't know. I'm a couple years younger than you.
Oh, I loved He-Man. No, I loved He-Man. I was a He-Man guy. Yep.
And we still love He-Man. Amina Najede, whose nickname is He-Man, had 2 touchdowns and only 46 yards, but he only carried the ball 5 times and still found his way to the end zone twice. He-Man, you knew that tonight was going to be about running the ball, going against a team like Yulee that lives for a ground and pound, and you guys knew you had to answer that. How do you feel about how your team and you and Darwin and Ladarius responded in the running game?
I just feel like we came together as a team. I mean, this week practice, it was tough, but we just came together as a family, and we've been working for this all season. We lost, but we came together towards the end. We're trying to push towards Spruce Creek.
There's one of you guys. I was going to ask. Angel leads me to my next question. The offensive line tonight.
Oh, hey, they blocked for me tonight. I was surprised. I mean, these holes are opening up. I was just bouncing it back. It was fun. I had a great night. 2 touchdowns. You feel like you guys are starting to hit your stride? Yes, sir. But I just want to say that we keep God-centered in this team. We always try to stay humble under God and just come and play to the best of our ability.
Great job tonight. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great job from the offensive line. They really ran the ball well against a team that was supposed to be great against the run, and their signature was being a running team themselves and playing great defense. So that's a huge accomplishment for that offensive line, for the backs, for the quarterback who was able to have success with his legs. You mentioned earlier 5.1 yards on first downs. That's impressive, and they all deserve kudos for the great game they had last night.
Angel De Leon had tapped him on the shoulder walking by the FPC Center, and I said I was good because that reminded me I wanted to ask a question about the offensive line. And FPC got 149 of their 238 yards on the ground, but it wasn't just on the ground. In a play that I'll probably play on the Monday Sports and probably 1,000 times after that, FPC gets the ball off of a turnover on downs. It's 14-0, and you can feel the momentum swinging. And you and I are talking about it on the air, and I said, I think FPC should take a shot here. And the safety comes up, and I'm thinking, man, I'm thinking as I'm watching it, like, this would really be a good time to take a shot. And then Ladarius Simmons hits Logan Jacobelli on a slant, and Logan takes it to the house. Perfect route, stuck his foot in the ground, turned upfield, ball was right there, and a touchdown for the Bulldogs. And he had 3 catches for 59 yards tonight and a touchdown. And they were missing their top receiver, Nolan Caliendo, tonight, and they still were able to get things done in the passing game, and it was mainly because of Logan Jacobelli. Logan.
Yes, sir.
Take me through the touchdown. I said to Rich, if I were Coach Turner, I would take a shot there, and you guys did. What was the play call? I mean, you don't have to give me the actual play call. I don't want you to give away secrets, but, what was the idea on that play?
It was basically just I got to win. I got to beat him with speed, get open, and make a play.
You and Nolan have made quite the tandem this year. Tonight you were without Nolan. You obviously still have Brian and Nico and the running game, but, what was it like to have to step up into that role tonight?
I mean, I feel like I've been there all year. It's just me and Nolan are so tight that nothing can really get past us. It's a constant battle between us to see who can push each other to be better. It's always striving to be better between us. So,
would have been easy. Well, let me ask you this first. On the touchdown, when did you know you were going to have 6?
As soon as my release. Probably one of the smoothest releases I've ever done, and I just hit it. I had to go. Knew I had to get open. They were trusting me, so.
Coming in against an undefeated Yulee team, how did you guys maintain the focus and not only do what you need to do, but really put the screws to them tonight?
Well, we just know that we're that team that's like a few little mistakes away from being 7-0 and 8-0 right now. And it's just, without those few little mistakes tonight, you can see what we've done.
After a win like this, how exciting is it to get back to work on Monday?
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to go to Creek and, make them 7 or 8-1.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, bro. Great job tonight.
And that's what it does. We were talking about this during the broadcast, and that win against Yulee, really, now there's a lot of juice in that game over in Spruce Creek. Who are the Bulldogs? Are they this team that defeated the 7-0 Yulee Hornets, and they're ready to go out to Spruce Creek and give them a competitive ball game where we're in the 4th quarter and the result is still in question? Is that the Bulldog team we're looking at? We're going to find out on Friday, by the way, right here on WNZF. That's WNZF Game of the Week, the FPC Bulldogs at Spruce Creek. So we're going to get a chance on the air to see what happens. But that's what it did. Now there's juice in that game. There's excitement to this Bulldog season right now. That was a huge win for the Bulldogs last night, and you love to hear the confidence from Logan Jacobelli there.
Now, he said they were going to make Spruce Creek 8-1. Well, Spruce Creek already lost. So the unfortunate thing about that is that means that will not be the 6th undefeated opponent FPC has faced this year. At the time they played, that's the other thing about FPC's schedule and why they're still in it at 3-5, especially after one like that, is Yulee was the 5th team they played this year that was undefeated at the time they played them, and Spruce Creek was an overtime loss away from being the 6th. And you talk about Jacobelli. Sometimes he gets lost in the sauce because of all the touches Nolan Caliendo gets. But every time they've needed a play from Logan Jacobelli, he's delivered, and he's a home run hitter. He came in averaging over 17 yards a carry, a reception. He got averaged 20 last night. So great job from him. And we now get to talk to the guy who got him the ball, somebody who had 100 yards rushing the last 2 games, only had 63 tonight, but on 13 carries. But like you said, just kept the ball moving, delivered the mail. Ladarius Simmons was 5 for 5 for 89 yards and a touchdown passing, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. And he's really taken over this team. Ladarius, you have taken control of this team over this last few weeks. You put them on your back through these last couple of games. What was your mindset going into tonight?
It was really, we just got to win. All I think about is winning, and I did everything I can to win. I didn't miss a single pass this game. 7 for 7, and good runs to get his first downs. We just play everything together this game.
Your offensive line tonight, you guys were able to run the ball effectively against a very tough run defense for Yulee. What about the play of your offensive line?
Offensive line was doing good. I mean, even though we can get the big runs, we got the 5-yard, 7 yards. That's all we needed to get first down sometimes. So I feel like they did really good this game.
And when you're running the ball, you've had some big running plays there in games this year. But tonight, there were no big running plays, but you got the yards you needed to time and time again. You know, does it matter to you? Does it affect your confidence if you're only getting 8 to 10 yards instead of 15 to 20, or does it just keep the chains moving?
As long as the chains are moving and we're scoring, that's all I care about.
Obviously, the receivers were locked in tonight. You were locked in at quarterback. Take us through that touchdown.
So I just knew he was going to be open because the linebacker, he came down, so I just threw it, and I trusted him to score that.
Where's your team's confidence right now?
It's pretty high right now. He's beat a 7-0 team that no one expected us to beat, so I think it's really high right now.
Yeah, and that's what you want to hear. A lot of confidence in that building right now. Big win against the Yulee Hornets last night. They're 7-1 now because the FPC Bulldogs were able to defeat them homecoming night, and they have Spruce Creek next week. And Mike, the quarterback, hey, they came into the season with 2 quarterbacks, Birchfield with the injury, and Simmons has taken the opportunity, and he really is running with it.
He is, and he's able to do things. It's funny because when you look at the 2 quarterbacks together, they were very complementary pieces to each other because they didn't have similar games necessarily, but each could do a lot of the same things effectively. And what we've seen Ladarius Simmons do is sometimes Patrick Turner is going to put a lot on his quarterbacks, and he does. He put a lot on Ladarius Simmons these last 3 weeks, and Ladarius has responded, and he responded again tonight, like you said, and he said. Just getting those few yards here and there to keep things moving. No negative plays. That's what I keep coming back to is no negative plays. And Ladarius Simmons is a big reason for that. I like that he saw the linebacker creep up just like I did from up top because that means, heck, sometimes I actually do know what I'm talking about. But one time I don't. I think we know what's coming next, don't we?
Oh, yeah. NFL picks. So Mike struggling this year at 6-12. I'm having the greatest year I've ever had at 11-7. Still a lot of season to go. Very little time for the picks, so we'll come back and run through them after this.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
Thank you so much for recommending us to your family and friends. When you need a 30, 60, or 90-minute massage, it's real easy to book your appointment online. MassageByNatalie.org. MassageByNatalie.org.
Rich and Mike Sports Show on a Saturday morning, and eventually we'll get a chance to cry about our Jets and our Yankees here on the show, but we are running out of time. Our NFL picks this week, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Are they a fun team to watch this year. I'm taking Tampa Bay plus 5.5 over Detroit. I have Seattle minus 3.5 over Houston, and I have Green Bay minus 7.5 over Arizona.
Well, the Jets are going to lose a lot more games. We'll have plenty of time.
Plenty of tears coming.
Exactly. I took the opposite side of that Seattle Texans game. I took Houston plus the 3.5. I like the Panthers minus 1.5 over those winless Jets, and the Rams over the Jaguars minus 3.5 on Sunday morning.
Flagler County, hey, FPC, the Bulldogs. They defeat the undefeated Hornets last night at Sal Campanella. Congratulations. We'll see you from Spruce Creek next Friday night. Have a great weekend, Flagler County.